This is just on my mind a little bit, and you tell me what you think. So when back in the 80s, when I was a Celtics fan, and it was the Celtics and the Lakers.
When you were a fan?
Yes.
Just of anything?
Yeah, a fan of the Boston Celtics.
Yeah, of a sports
and
team.
Larry Bird, yeah. So it was the middle of the, in the 80s, and so the Lakers would win, and the Celtics would win, and the Lakers, and then eventually Detroit broke through, the Pistons.
Yes.
And I remember as a Celtics fan, I was mad that the Pistons broke through because I just wanted the Lakers and the Celtics to win titles. Like, I didn't want the group expanded outside of those two teams because I just wanted those two teams in it. And what I'm getting at here is, so this year, for the 6th year in a row, we're going to have a different NBA champion, no matter what happens. We had the Warriors, then we had Toronto, then we had the Lakers, the Bucks. No, forget the first Warriors. Toronto, Lakers, Bucks, Warriors, Nuggets, and now there's going to be a new team. Like, if you're a Warrior fan, you don't want everybody in that group. Like, you want that group to be very small, don't you?
I disagree.
Really?
I actually think that the fact that the Warriors were the last team to go back-to-back, and a lot of people believe they should have three-peated, that does make it a very exclusive group. I don't think people want to see another dynasty because then the Warriors will have to share something in this generation. I think the fact that there's been 5 separate winners after them means that the league is kind of been up for grabs. Like, it was the Warriors league, and until another team, puts its fingerprint on the NBA, it's still the Warriors league to a lot of people.
Even now?
Maybe not now, but it has been. Like, the Warriors are the last great dynasty. As of now, Michael Malone was talking about how that's the next step for Denver and might have put the cart before the horse, or did put the cart before the horse. But what other team has the makings to do what the Warriors did? Maybe Boston?
I mean, I would have thought Denver had a shot at going back-to-back for sure.
I thought they could do it.
Well, that's the other thing with that Warrior team. The reason they went back-to-back is because they were significantly better than the second-best team in the NBA, whoever that was in a given year. And there's far more parity now. Like, even if Denver's the best team in the league, Minnesota's obviously good enough and capable of beating them. But even if the Celtics are the best team in the league, they're not head and shoulders better than the second-best team.
Well, so hear me out. Yeah. I don't think Warriors fans want there to be another big dynasty or like a team to just continue to run it. I think the league wants that, though. Like, I don't think the league wants parity. I think they'll say they do, and the fact that it's competitive each and every year would show that it is equal as it's ever been in a long time. But I think that the NBA was built on dynasties. It is built on dynasties. It's built on greatness. To have, like, if the NBA goes 10 years with 10 different winners, I think to a lot of fans who love basketball, that's kind of interesting. But from a league perspective, what do you sell? Like, who do you sell? What team do you sell? They've been selling the Warriors and LeBron James for a decade and a half, it feels like. Mainly LeBron, the Warriors for the last 10 years. If you're a league that is built on stars, you don't know who's a star year to year.
Well, let me ask you this, though, because the one thing we've seen a little bit more of in the last 2 years, right, is we saw the Miami Heat come from a low seed. Yep. I think they were 8.
7.
Okay, 7.
Yeah.
We saw the Warriors at 6 beat the Kings last year. This year we've got a 6 seed in the Eastern Conference Finals.
Yes.
It used to be in the NBA that you couldn't, quote unquote, pull upsets. Like the 8 would never beat the 1. The 7 would very infrequently beat the 2. So isn't it a good thing if the NBA playoffs are becoming a little bit like March Madness, where teams are starting to get upset a little bit more than they had in the past?
Let me ask you this, Donnie. Did you watch more of the women's college basketball tournament this year or the men's?
Probably the men's.
The fact that you thought about it tells me because the women's tournament's been, kind of out of the spotlight for a long time. Why was it in the national spotlight? Because of stars.
True.
Because of teams that had history. I mean, the whole LSU Iowa back and forth was publicized and hyped for days, for weeks. Everyone was waiting until those two teams could meet again. And the fact that Caitlin Clark got to the championship game was what people wanted to see because they want to see stars. I think that also applies to the NBA. I think, for example, if the Mavericks upset the Minnesota Timberwolves, people were comparing Anthony Edwards to Michael Jordan in the first round.
Right. Well,
it's because they're reaching. What apparently we were doing for the first 2 hours of the show, according to callers.
A Bikram yoga stretch.
A Bikram yoga stretch. That's exactly right. But it's a stretch because they're trying to find the next thing. People are trying to create the next big thing. There isn't one right now.
Why would you compare Anthony Edwards to Michael Jordan?
That's a great question.
I mean, Michael Jordan never won a playoff series at 22 years old.
Oh, my God.
So to put Anthony Edwards...
Shut up.
Or to put Michael Jordan on the same level as Anthony Edwards, I mean, you got to be kidding me. Jordan had no success the first half of his career, and Anthony Edwards has taken the league by storm. Mm-hmm.
You know why? Because Anthony Edwards was gutless and couldn't stick it out through college, and he didn't believe in development.
Let me tell you what
he didn't believe in grooming his skills at the college level and dominating each and every facet of the game before taking his talents to the NBA. He just thought about the bag.
Let me tell you what he's never done, Ant. He's never called Karl Anthony Towns or Rudy Gobert his supporting cast like Michael Jordan did.
No, instead he hyped up Jaden McDaniels over Kevin Durant.
Instilling confidence. He's instilling confidence.
And he's instilling confidence in himself. I mean, he was like 6 for 18 last night. Take a shot. Good Lord.